Cajun American saying, what are your thoughts on the colonized versus colonizer response to the death of Queen Elizabeth?
Hmm.
The what? Oh my god, the
Cousin
cousin lover.
effer. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Have you ever seen
Okay.
her family tree? It's actually really small. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
surprising.
Notably, the Irish chanting "Lizzie's in a box." Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. A private citizen is not responsible for the crimes of their ancestors, but should a monarch be responsible for the crimes of their dynasty? I
Hmm.
mean, they should. I think they should at least speak up against it.
Hmm.
Like, I think you could condemn Queen Elizabeth II for. Has she ever come out and say like, yeah, we did, like, the monarchy has been no,
I think
somewhat.
they've I think they've I think they're technically under her reign has been official statements from the crown on very specific things, and that in which kind of like how the Catholic Church finally officially apologized for murdering a bunch of children in Canada, stuff like that. I think there's been a couple of things like that over the years under her reign. Again, she was in charge for 70 years, so a lot of things happened, but I don't think there has ever been uh, a hard blanket condemnation of a lot of the things that has happened in the past under the monarchy.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I kind of come to that point too. Like, it's not her fault. Obviously, she wasn't alive. 300 years ago, so she had nothing to do with that. Just like I didn't either. But at the same time, she is the figurehead. She is the one that is
Yeah.
in charge of the family, pretty much, right until her death.
I think she's responsible for. She is supposed to condemn it. Like, I think it is her responsibility to come. Like, this institution that I am the head of
Mhm.
has done these crimes, and I do not endorse them, and they're horrible.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
I'm not doing that, but given that I'm head of this institution that is responsible for all these crimes, it's my job to come and say, like, we do not, like, this is bad and we condemn it, right? And she
I agree.
never did that. She never did that like this outright. So yeah, she is. You can condemn her for not condemning those
Yeah.
acts.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're that's not to say that's not to be guilt by association or anything, right? But what it is you as an individual taking over an institution or organization in which it is very clear that there have been wrongdoings in the past. So like for instance, if Armin were to accept the presidency for some organization that has clearly done terrible things in the past and just
Yeah.
not mention it at all and just be like, well, all right, guys, I'm the pres now. This is great. Here's my first order. Like, oh, holy crap, dude. Like, at least take
Yeah.
5 seconds to just go, hey, I remember how like we did that horrible thing and like robbed all those banks years ago. That is not my organization. We are not going to do that anymore. It's like,
That's bad.
yeah, at
I
least at
condemn
least
it.
at least take 5 seconds. You don't have
Yeah.
to make it a regular thing, but like, come
Yeah.
on, guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
I understand why there are a good handful of people worldwide that are not exactly particularly bummed out about her passing. I mean, I wouldn't you wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me if you were like, man, did you know that there were a good handful of people in India that did not give a damn about her dying? I'd be like, no way, no way. I wonder why. What happened
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Also, the fact that you could in this day and age you could still get arrested in the UK for saying stuff against the monarchy, that is barbaric. That is
That was
like
very
so
interesting.
backward.
Yeah, that
Like,
was very
seriously?
interesting.
Like, you protesting against the monarchy and you could get arrested for that in a country like United Kingdom? This is why we don't need the monarchy, because you could
The
yeah, yeah, go.
the only the only angle I see on this, if you're talking about the person that was like arrested at the like procession, you know, the only thing I could see, and I think this is oftentimes it's a fairly BS law that officers will use in a lot of different countries, but like the whole disturbing the peace thing,
No.
like resisting arrest, like you're being a jerk to us after we tried to arrest you. Now we're definitely arresting you. that's the only potential I could see for why you would pull somebody out of that, procession, out of that parade as a viewer and take
Yeah,
them away.
but in the UK, the laws are that you can't insult the monarchy.
Oh, they actually still have those on the books.
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
my gosh, if they have that, Jesus, what's the Majeste Lest? Like you're not allowed to like make fun of the monarchy. My gosh, that's so ridiculous. It just is straight blasphemy law. Like,
oh wait, so it is important to note that neither the UK or Australia protects the monarchy against criticism. Okay, so criticism you're allowed. This is significant because in some countries such as Thailand, okay, so I know you can criticize them, but I think you can't make fun of them or insult them. Here. Is it legal in the UK to publicly make fun of the family? No, it's not legal. It's not. Oh, it's not. No, it's not only legal. It is a national sport. Okay, so I don't know. I'm getting contradictory information.
I think Ireland still might have blasphemy laws. Like Ireland, I think might still have a couple of things about what you can and can't say regarding religion. Like,
okay, the reason why I thought in the UK you can't make fun of the Queen or whatever is because Jon Stewart had a segment making fun of her because he said you're not allowed to do that. So maybe
there's
maybe
something about like on broadcast network or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because when you said that reminded me. I do remember seeing that episode of his where he was like, right now the people in Britain that are watching my show, can't see any of this because we've been making fun of the Queen or something.
Okay.
I think it might have to do with like broadcasting standards for like BBC or other networks. But yeah, I mean, truly, whatever it is in any capacity, it's dumb. You should be allowed to criticize. I mean, of all the people you should be allowed to criticize in the world, like, royalty is probably one that should always be accessible. Like, what is me making fun of? Like, what is me making fun of the royal family in England going to do to them? They're still going to have $100 billion. Like, they're still going to own most of Scotland. Like, what does that change? So
yeah, exactly. Hong Kong. So a Asian American with the $2 super chat. Thank you, saying Hong Kong is mourning as an act of defiance to CCP. Okay, now that I support. Okay, so that. Yeah. Okay. There's some other comments here about this. So Secular Sakai is saying the Commonwealth is slowly dissolving as more nations become republics. Barbados recently left. Yeah, Barbados recently left the monarchy. Good job. And other nations have announced referendums. Canada needs a referendum on this.
Yeah, for sure.
Canada needs a referendum on this. I hope like Canada leaves the.
And I think that's the way to do it. Don't just don't just accept that everybody in the country doesn't give a crap about the monarchy. Put a referendum out there to the people, and if the people say, you know what, actually we're cool with it, then screw it. It's not really changing much for most countries anymore. It's more of just a rubber stamp that you put on some paper every so often. It's like, hey, you belong to the Commonwealth, but you get to participate in the Commonwealth international games. I don't know if you ever watched those. They're kind of like the Olympics, but like less interesting. So
but technically okay, so I never even thought about this. Okay, I never even felt it, but technically she was my queen.
She was your queen. Yeah, Armin.
Yeah,
I know. How dare you?
So I never said this. I never used the word my queen before. But I was like, this is my queen who died. I'm like, I feel disgusted about even saying that. Like now I have a king. I literally have a king now. I have a king.
You do. You are a citizen of His Majesty, Armin. I'm so sorry, man. I know. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I have a king. God damn it.
Yeah. You see why here down in the States here we laugh at you and we talk about how much freer we are, right? Because this is your you're trapped by the snow and ice and polar bears and the Majesty. So
well, I mean, at least we have free healthcare.
So. That's okay. And education and like roads and whatever. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, okay, so let me see. Okay, Secular Sakai is saying plus Scotland seeking to leave the Union. Yeah, if they leave the Union, then they wouldn't be under the monarchy.
Yeah, and that would be very
Um,
strange if they did.
Yeah, Secular Sakai is saying, you know what's crazy to realize? Both Spain and Cambodia had their monarchies ousted, replaced with dictatorships, and then reinstated decades later. Really, I didn't know that.
If I remember correctly, in Spain, the most recent king, when his father abdicated and he took over, they purposefully made it a very small ceremony so as not to like raise the ire of people, because I guess like the Spanish king is just really not that important at all. So they didn't want to be like, oh my God, look at all this money we're taking from the taxes still.
Oh yeah, actually Spain is used by pro-Iranian monarchists. I think I remember this actually now. To be like, see, people took away the monarchy and they realized that they made a mistake and they brought it back. So they use Spain as an example.
They'll reach for anything, man. Like come on.
So Shekibeh is Shekibeh. I don't know. How do you pronounce Shekibeh's name? Susanna has a better. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying Shekibeh. So saying, to be fair, there are many stupid laws in the books, but people don't care about them. They insult monarchy all the time. Yeah, so maybe there's a law in the books that nobody follows. Maybe that's the situation here. And Qasim is saying, must it be a crown? Can we take turban as a sign of monarchy? If so, we still have a monarchy in Iran. Oh yeah, actually, some people do say that Khamenei is basically a king. So I heard that before as well. Shaky. Okay, just shaky. All right. Why are people anti-monarchy? Because it's anti-democratic, because you have people in charge that are in charge merely because of their birth through inheriting their position. It makes absolutely no sense. It's barbaric. It's backwards. It has no place in the civilized world. Yeah. All right, so I think we completely spent enough time answering this question. By the way, really good point, Secularity. Sometimes it seems like I'm not listening, but I'm listening. I'm just doing so many things. I'm like taking.
That's okay. I'll cry about it after the stream. Don't worry. Not live. Not while we're live. So.
No, because I know. Sometimes it bothers Susanna because I'm like, Susanna's like, I'm talking and you're looking in so many different places. I'm like, well, I have to manage the live chat. What I'm supposed to do?
In fairness, she actually does a lot of work beforehand, and so I that makes sense. But
yeah. Like, okay, I can't So I'm already losing so many good comments in the live chat because I can't do so many things. See, we need a co-host, not a back. Somebody behind the scenes that just monitors the live chat, so I could just pay attention to one thing. Maybe one day we'll have somebody volunteer to just monitor the live chat.
If enough people join the Patreon, I've heard that opens doors. So that's
guys. Join. Yeah, exactly. Please support us. That's actually, see, this is why you're here. You're not. Okay, good. Let's go to this question. Oh yeah, we already answered this, I think. What are your thoughts on the arrest of British protesters protesting the monarchy and the suspension of public services for the burial of Elizabeth II? I think we answered this. We think the monarchy is just a wasteful system. So all of it. Yeah. So
in terms of the suspending the public services, at least in some parts, I understand without really any qualms. Again, not a fan of monarchy to begin with, but it's kind of just like if the vice president of the United States were to die, right? Like if any major figurehead in the government, which technically the Queen still was a major figurehead, the monarchy does actually still do some things in terms of the government. Most of it is 100% ceremonial, but anytime something gets passed through Parliament, it does technically have to go in front of the Queen or King. So it kind of makes sense that the government would say, hey, we're going to stop doing stuff for the day. But yeah, again, not excited about the whole monarchies. So
See, Oxymoron is saying people inherit parental property too. Is that too bad too? No, it's not. Okay, this is like a false analogy because they're not representing me. I like a politician is supposed to be somebody that is representing me. So I have to, in a democracy, I have to have a say in who is representing me. The parental property. A better analogy, like parental property, is like, yeah, these are my property. I want to give it to my child when I die. So obviously, nobody's being wronged by you giving your wealth to your children, right? But if somebody is supposed to be my representative on how the country is run or anything, any decision about the country, then democracy is the way to go. I have to have a say. A better example would be if a CEO of a company dies and I'm a shareholder in the company, and instead of asking for my vote for who the next CEO is going to be, his son, if his son becomes a CEO, if that's the rule of the company, that okay, like what the hell? Like, I'm a shareholder in this company. Why is his son becoming the CEO? It has to be my vote. That would be a better example for why it's insane for this to be based on inheritance.
And I think it's the governmental control that is exerted in the monarchy situation that's the problem, right? It's not really the fact that people get stuff from their relatives after they die that's the issue. Like, hey, cool, you got a castle and a nice shiny hat. That's great. I think it's the problem that you're now in control of the millions of people that live in the country. That's the issue.
I mean, even the castle and the hat is
it's not
technically
great.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, how did you get that? You know, it was.
Oh yeah, it was generally like the whole slavery and like colonizing other lands and it was bad.
I would be honestly in favor. Like, I wouldn't condemn if for example, UK became a republic, and the monarchy was like, okay, fine, we're going to take all this land and wealth and go be private citizens, right? I would be in favor of like, no, you don't get to keep those. Like, I would like people. Do you think that's too extreme? I'm like, nope. Even all the jewelry, your wealth, all your land,
it
goes to the people.
It should go back to the British government, and it should go into those coffers and be used in that fund. I mean, it's nothing that is technically owned by the royals. I mean, so it's a bit of a weird situation, and from what I understand, it's like it's not technically owned by them. It is still technically in control of the British government. It's just that it's kind of the practice and the procedure to let them, be using it and all of this stuff and have free reign of all this. And like, their money is the money that they receive is actually taxes that is set aside every year for the royals, which is why the whole Meghan Markle thing and Harry or whatever his name is, like why that was such a big deal is because they actually said we will not receive British taxpayer funds anymore. And so like the crown jewels, all the property, everything that would all just go back to the people, and then they'd have even better healthcare and education than the United States. So
Asian American, but you send a $2 super chat saying, Armin, you sound like a communist. Okay, I'm not saying to take the wealth of all rich people and give it to everybody. I'm just saying take the wealth of the monarchs, which their wealth is part of the government. It's supposed to be for the people. Okay, there's a difference between the wealth that somebody has gained through, I don't know, building a company or becoming rich, or compared to the wealth of the people who was literally taken from the people for the excuse that we're like chosen. By the way, it's still the law in the UK that the reason why these monarchs are the monarch is because they are chosen by God. That is still the official reason. Okay, technically. So like, if that's your reason for why you took all this wealth, like, no, thank you. So sorry, we're going to take that and give it to the people, right? So you don't have it. They don't have any legal grounds for owning those. Awesome, great.
I will say, I do think this. I think with her death, with Elizabeth's death, we are going to see more and more people in the UK not be as enamored, and I think part of that is just because of who's in line. Like, I don't think there's that many people walking around the United Kingdom anyway that were just like, oh my gosh, can't wait for Charles to be in charge.
Yeah.
And I am confident people are not excited about like Andrew.
The
So
guy seems like a dick. Am I?
Prince
Maybe I don't know
Andrew,
him. No, no,
Prince
no, no.
Andrew, or
No.
Charles.
Like Charles.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's never seemed warm and fuzzy to me, but I don't know. I
No,
mean,
like there was a video. I mean, maybe this is just like
like him
very.
pushing the pins away and stuff. Is that the one?
No, I wish he pushed the pins. Okay, so there was something in front of him. Okay, and he was like,
Yeah, get
okay,
it away.
so he literally could have touched it. He literally could have moved it. Like it's not that heavy. You could just like push it aside. But it's like what is that? Like my slaves, where are you? Why is this in front of me? Move it. Like move it. Like I was thinking like maybe I'm judging him too much based on a very short clip, but I was just I was hating him so much just because of that. I was like, imagine the way you have been brought up for you to think that is too beneath you for you to move an object that is in front of you yourself.
Yeah.
Like that mindset just disgusts me. But
That-
maybe I'm judging him too harshly based on one clip. I don't know.
That's why he's there and you're here, Armin. I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh wow, we're getting some. Yeah, go on.
Woo! No, I was just giggling about it. Yeah, I thought that video was ridiculous. So
Yeah. Maybe I should find a clip.
I'm not sure 20 years from now people are going to be super excited about the monarchy in Britain anymore, but we'll see.
Also, here's another thing. He was also anything. You could also argue that he was better as somebody in a position that he's not a king than he is a king, because one good thing about him is that he cares about climate change and the environment.
He has
right?
done some stuff for that, yeah.
Yeah, but now as the king, he's supposed to stay out of politics, right? So he was better, more beneficial to the world as when he wasn't a king, and now he can't say anything about like climate change and policies and things that the UK need to do to save the world because he's a king. So yeah, basically the only advantage that this man had, you ruined it by making him the king. So
they literally, one of the last things Queen Elizabeth did was it's not really a swearing in that she does for the new prime minister, but she basically did the swearing in for the new prime minister, Liz Truss. And so, we'll see what happens with her being in charge and whether or not that does actually do some good things for the economy in the UK, and whether or not they can really handle all the fallout of Brexit that's still coming. And so it could just be a coincidental thing that it just so happens that this particular Tory government isn't super great. And, that kind of coincides with the first couple of years of him being the king, and that just kind of taints everything. And now it's just like, we're not super excited with the Tories, not super excited with the monarchy. But we'll see. I mean, they have a more fun. I will say I do, as a nerd, I do sometimes watch live the House of Commons. It's kind of fun just seeing them all like yell at each other and stuff. So,
yeah. By the way, there's two. Now that I'm looking, there's two clips of him, but there's two pen dramas with this guy. Okay? So one of them, he actually kind of pushes it a little bit, but there's another one that he doesn't even touch it, and he's annoyed. Let me actually see if I could find it, because it's kind of like, because the people might be like, "What are you talking about? You're lying about him." Because yeah, let me actually find it. Yeah, 1 second. Oh yeah, so yeah. Look. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay, so this is before he sits down. So I don't the part that he sits down, I don't have an issue because he's annoyed, but he actually pushes it. He touches it a little bit himself. But this is the part that I'm even more annoyed. Look at this. I don't know why this annoys the crap out of me. Look. So if you look at this part, look, move. Oh, move it yourself. Look at this. Like he doesn't even he doesn't do anything to touch it. It's not that heavy, man. Just move it. Look, move. My slaves, my slaves.
He's
Move
also
it,
a
move it.
very, very old man. I mean, I will say this. He is also a fairly old
But
individual.
his hand is right there. His hand is right next to it. Okay, he could literally touch it and move it away. But he's like, no, you do it. Why should I do it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, how the other half live, right?
You can now get the sexiest blasphemous art ever known to mankind for free. Too sexy to show most of it here on YouTube. We draw Muhammad, Hindu goddesses, sexy hijabi art, Jesus, Mother Mary, Japanese god, Greek gods, and much, much more. Click on the link below where it says get our free blasphemous art.